Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Drawing Down the Stars. Thank you so much for joining me. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. And thank you for coming on August 20th, 2024. It's a beautiful full moon as well. Joyous day. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Let's start by giving a shout out to everyone here in the chat. Great to see you, Gandhi. Much love, Valerie. Good to see you, Ruby and Jeremy. Much love, Christy. Good to see you, Leslie Cellini. Good to see you, Isaac. Amazing to see you, Taz. Thank you guys for joining me. I love to see you in your radiant energy. All right. We're going to start by talking about the astrology on our beautiful full moon. We have really interesting energy right now because we are in that Pisces moon, that incredibly emotive energy of going deep into the self, of really connecting to your deepest roots, moving in that emotional flow too with our closest loved ones, being able to emote and to feel and to be truly sensitive and receptive to the world around us. It's a truly transformative moment. And with this full moon, you can really take advantage of that watery nature. You can really go to the depths of the self. You can really shine a light and see your emotional flow and what your feelings are really at. Now is a time for, if you have wounds or things that need to be re-looked at or concerns, this is the time when you want to look and shine a light there, right? And there's a lot of potentiality in this moment, so much incredible beauty. And I was really thinking a lot upon this full moon, and I was thinking about this idea of the power of the moon to shine a light, to be able to descend into the self, to expose the self to that light of the reflective moon, to be that reflector and to go into those depths. Take advantage of this moment, embrace those murky waters of the self and explore, because the self is an ever-changing, ever-expanding thing that you must routinely get to know and re-experience throughout your life. It's an engagement. You are multiplicity, and you must exist in it and perceive it, lest you change without even realizing, So in this beautiful lunar full moon, go say hi to that Selene energy, Mene, that great goddess, Diana, the huntress. Be inspired, right? Be under that light and dance to your fullest extent. Let the light radiate into your soul and expose yourself to the universe, right? Beautiful. Okay. I also want to read for you guys a couple poems that I was thinking about just in relation to this general energy. And the first one comes to us from Emily Dickinson. It's called A Murmur in the Trees to Note. A murmur in the trees to note, not loud enough for wind, a star not far enough to seek, nor near enough to find, a long, long yellow on the lawn, a hubbub as of feet, not audible as ours to meet, but dapperer, more sweet. A hurrying home of little men, to houses unperceived. All this and more, if I should tell, would never be believed. Of robins in the trundle bed, how many I espy, whose nightgowns could not hide the wings, although I heard them try. By then I promised ne'er to tell, how could I break my word? So go your way and I'll go mine. No fear you'll miss the road. There's a universe around you if you're willing to perceive and to engage with that world. If you can go under the light of the moon, now you can perceive so much. That light really will shine for you and expose. And you have the ability to listen, And the other poem comes to us from Madison Kawine, A Dreamer of Dreams. He lived beyond men and so stood, admitted to the brotherhood of beauty, dreams, with which he trod, championed like some sylvan god. And oft men wondered, when his thought made all their knowledge seem as naught, if he, like Uther's mystic son, had not been born of Avalon. When wandering mid the whispering trees, his soul communed with every breeze, heard voices calling from the glades, bloom words of the Lineads or the Dryads of the ash and oak, who syllabled his name and spoke with him of presences and powers that glimpsed in sunbeams, gloomed in showers. By every violet hallowed brook, where every bramble matted nook rippled and laughed with water sounds, he walked like one on sainted ground, fearing intrusion of the spell that kept some fountain spirits well, or woodland genius sitting where red racy berries kissed his hair. Once where the wind fair o'er the hill had fallen and left the wildwood still, for dawn's dim feet to trail across beneath the gnarled boughs on the moss, the air around him golden ripe, with daybreak there with oaken pipe. His eyes beheld the wood god Pan, goat-bearded, horned, half brute, half man, who shaggy haunched the savage rhyme, blew his reed in rudest time, and swollen jowled with rolling eye beneath the slowly silvering sky, whose rose streaked through the forest's roof, danced, while beneath his boisterous hoof the branch was snapped and interfused between gnarled roots, the moss was bruised. And often when he wandered through old forests at the fall of dew, a new Endymion who sought a beauty higher than all thought, some night men said most surely he would favored be of deity, that in holy solitude her sudden presence long pursued, until his gaze would stand confessed the awful moonlight of her breast, come high with majesty and hold his heart's blood till his heart grew cold, unpulsed, unsinewed, all undone, and snatched his soul to Avalon. Beautiful. Do you have the power to dream that dream, to experience the fullness of that natural beauty, to see that sylvan god Pan before you? To embrace the panic, and through that panic, gain entrance to that great mother, that terrifying moon, right? And that huntress at the same. It's interesting. The moon is both Selene, right? The mother, and also Diana, the virgin huntress. You know, the one who can snatch you from the woods and carry you off into the sky, right? Place you in the stars in Avalon. Beautiful. Interesting. All right. We're going to start today. Sorry with all the books. I was getting myself ready here. We're going to start today with our Ganapati Oracle, where we invoke that god, Ganesha Ganapati, Lord of Beginnings, guardian of the threshold, Lord of the Ganas, the great divine child. Inspire us, guide us, and help our words go to those who need to hear them. What is the message? All right. Positive outlook. Positive outlook. Don't worry, be happy. Bobby McFerrin is one of my all-time favorite musicians. You know, a beautiful soul. Far more than that song, but that song is a classic. Go listen to it. Don't worry, be happy. Have that positive outlook. Embrace joy. You know, be in the presence of that bountiful nature. Go experience the beauty of that full moon, right? Allow joy to wash over you and recognize that belief and beauty and these things have power. If you believe, if you have that positive outlook, you will persist and achieve beauty and control and power, right? There's so much to be said of this energy. So much to be said of this energy, right? The other day we had that futility energy. How do you combat futility? With positivity, believing in the self, right? That's where that magic truly comes from. You see it in all the fairy tales and all the Disney shows. It's there for a reason, you know? It's in all those cheesy self-help books. It's Oprah's secret. It's not so much a secret. Just believe in yourself. Embrace joy, you know? Love life. Life is what you make of it to a certain extent, you know? You have control over some aspects of your life. And if you put joy into life, you will bring joy, right? Be joy, create joy. Okay. Let's begin our sorties today with Edgar Allan Poe. All right. So, for those of you unaware, the sortes is a form of bibliomancy, that is, divination through literature. And it comes to us from the Greco-Roman tradition. We invoke those goddesses of inspiration, the divine muses, and we ask them to inspire us, to send us a message through the text. And we read the lines out of context, and we use our intuition and our reason to interpret their message. So muses, inspire us this evening. What is the message? How do we best move in the flow? How do we manifest our true will? Oop. Upside down and all around. Here we go. The entire absence of ocean or sea, and indeed of any lake or river or body of water whatsoever, struck me at first glance as the most extraordinary feature in its geological condition. Wow. Interesting. The absence of water. The most striking feature. Water is the key ingredient to create life, right? It transforms the matter into something. It allows for the churning of the ocean, right? It is that ocean that can be churned, that allows the mixing, the coming together, that Saturnian magic that can produce the concoctions, that can allow for that alchemical creation. Water is the base, right? It's needed for everything. To be in an area that's desolate of the water, then we cannot have creation, right? That water of life, that love, that emotion, that flow, it allows everything to move and to grow. Anything that tries to remove that love, or if you are lacking in that love, recognize it in your life. Recognize the lack of waters. And recognize that you need those waters to sustain life, to grow the garden, to expand and develop. We all need community. We all need connection. We all need our cups to be full and to be drunken from. Give and receive, right? Beautiful. Let us continue. Okay. We're now going to go to the Psychic Bible by Genesis Peorage and the Temple of Psychic Youth. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from the Temple of Psychic Youth? Inspire us this evening. As any deity is actually a linguistic and televisual reproduction of the universe, then IT is the source that defines, describes, and makes a picture of imaginary time in our own images. Oh, wow. As any deity is actually a linguistic and televisual reproduction of the universe, then IT is the source that defines, describes, and makes a picture of imaginary time. Imaginary time in our own images, IT, perception, that time in its irreducible moment, that act of perceiving, of cutting, of slicing, that Saturnian magic in its most plain, right? Imaginary time. Creating of images through that act of violence, of measuring against, right? You measure against the body through that act of perception, which is a violent act. Wow. But when we do that, we get a televisual reproduction of the universe, right? A sliver, a window, a picture that can then be dissected even further through that perceptive magic, right? It's that scientific method too, right? That you're reducing everything till its quotient, to its irreducible point, trying to understand everything in its individual perspective. Imagined time. Beautiful. Wow. And recognizing that deity is just a reproduction of the universe, an image, a reflection, a creation of the mind to recreate the universe. Wow, an artistic representation. Beautiful. You know, for some people, they would see that as a negative thing, but within a lot of these pagan traditions, the image, the eidolon is everything. So it's not negative at all, right? Interesting. Okay, let's continue. We're going to go to Boccaccio, the Decameron. All right. Use this, guide my hand. What is the message? Inspire us this evening. Nay, said the monk, she sent them, but they were burned by the masses. Whoa. Whoa. Nay, said the monk, she sent them, but they were burned at the masses. Oof, that's some dark imagery right there. Burned at the masses. She sent them. Interesting, right? And the monk recognizes this, that they were sent and burned at the masses, at the center of their right, you know? Interesting. Something to think on, that kind of cyclical violence, right? And recognize that this monastic rejects the feminine, right? It is that virginal energy of the moon, but it's in its corrupted form that results in this violent explosion. If you really want to see this on full display, I highly recommend you read the book Salome, or the play, I should say, Salome by Oscar Wilde. In that, Joachim, St. John the Baptist, is this lunar energy, right? Salome calls him that virginal moon who rejects love, who rejects intercourse, who rejects life. And so she must have his head. She must destroy him, right? And she uses that dance of provocation, and he refuses to bend, but other men bend, and she gets his head, and she kisses his mouth. It's a wild book, and it's a wild, wild story, but there's a truism in here. There's this rejection of love that is a problem, right? It is a deep negativity in some ways. You know, there's multiplicities to this image of that virginal moon, right? It's such a complex and interesting image to think on, because we also have this beautiful image of it, right? I told you the story of Joachim, which is that corrupted image where you have the masculine rejecting love and asserting their patriarchal violence and authority, you know, but we also have that image of Diana, the virginal huntress who assumes her own authority and rejects love to protect herself and chooses the love of women, right? And empowers herself through her own aegis, her own shield, and her own skin, her own power. And so we see it in two different ways. It can be this beautiful self-empowerment, this huntress energy of taking and manifestation of the will and of authority to be able to reject that masculine advance that seeks to control and dominate, you know, and to have the power to be your own, to be that hunter who everyone has to cower in fear of. You know, Diana is such a power, right? No one is outside of her gaze. So it's incredible. But we can also see it in its negative too with Joachim. Anyway, interesting. Lots to think on. The moon is powerful energy, right? Beautiful. All right, we're now going to go to Byron, selected poetry and letters. Use this, guide my hand. What is the message from Byron? Inspire us this evening. The morn broke and found Juan slumbering still, fast in his cave, and nothing clashed upon his rest, the rushing in the neighboring rill, and the young beams of the excluded sun troubled him not, and he might sleep his fill, and need he had of slumber yet, for none had suffered more. His hardships were comparative to those related in my granddad's narrative. This is kind of beautiful. And I think the message here that we're getting is that sometimes we need to take that time to relax and to reflect and to recognize the struggles that brought us here to these moments, and that we all need these times to build and to reflect and to be in that cave, to be in that foundational energy of the self. And under the full moon, we have that power to pierce into those depths, right? To embody that Pisces energy in this moment. Right. And we're also seeing this interesting energy as the moon moves into Aries too, right? We have that fiery, confident energy coming in. So it's a really profound moment with this lunar bliss that we can achieve if you can connect to her, right? And take this time to rest and relax and to listen to your own story, right? You don't always have to compare your suffering to others. But even when you do, right? Sometimes when you do, you go, wait, I have been suffering. Like, let's read this back, right? The morn broke and found Juan slumbering still, fast in his cave, and nothing clashed upon his rest, the rushing of the neighboring rill, and the young beams of the excluded sun troubled him not, and he might sleep his fill, and need he had of slumber yet, for none had suffered more. His hardships were comparative to those related in his granddad's narrative, right? Even in the exaggerated stories of his grandfather. And we've all heard those tales, right? From any kind of elder, or seen them recreated in some fashion in media, right? But we can all relate to this in some fashion. And we all kind of need to do this at times, There's real comfort and lessons to be gained in reflecting on the lives of others, right? And recognizing that, yes, I have gone through the shit. Yeah, it's okay for me to sit back and take a moment, So do that for yourself. Think on yourself. Think on your loved ones. Think on your life, and recognize your own struggles and those around you. It puts everything into perspective. We always need a little perspective. Beautiful. Okay, we're now going to go to Goethe, Faust. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Faust? Inspire us. My mind is set to know the worth of nature's laws in heaven and earth, investigating each resource of science to my satisfaction. Wow. My mind is set to know the worth of nature's laws in heaven and earth, investigating each resource of science to my satisfaction. Time imagined, Saturnian magic, exploration through perception and study. My mind is set to know the worth of nature's laws in heaven and earth, investigating each resource of science to my satisfaction. Recognize the laws of the universe, right? Recognize the patterns. Science is a method in a way. It's not the only way, but it is a beautiful one that has a lot to be gained. And it is a magical act, right? It is a magical act. Beautiful. Let's continue. Okay. Book of Thoth. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from the Book of Thoth? Inspire us. The primary radical in all this class of words is the guttural. The guttural. Observe the Hebrew attributions: Gimel, the moon; Keth, Cancer; the house of moon, Kaf; the wheel, Kof; the moon, gutter; the throat. Sounds so made suggest the other throat. One is the channel of respiration and nutrition, the other of reproduction and elimination. It sends a reverberation throughout your entire body. You feel it in the center of your soul. Say that word, Gimel, Say that word, cough, gutter. And you can feel it in the back of your throat and in your gut. Interesting. The moon, these places, they're designed, these words that call forth the moon tell you what they're about creating that gateway, that channel that goes through your body, that connects you to the most eternal and primal of your functions, right? Into your guts, into your bowels, grounds you into that lower chakra, The moon is that light that can expose and be shown into your depths. Beautiful. All right. We're now going to go to my dear friend Graham's book, The Shape of My Will. All right. Muses, what is the message from Graham? Inspire us. Please, before the end, hold me close like you used to. Oof. Please, before the end, hold me close like you used to. Intense energy, but recognize love. It is love that makes everything worth living. It's love that keeps us connected to the world and what we strive for. Hold me close. Right? What do I desire more than anything? To be in that connection with another. Interesting. We're now going to go to Arcana Mundi. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from George Luck and Arcana Mundi? Inspire us. First, Lucan attempts to explore the secret behind the Delphic oracle. As a Stoic, he believes in divine power that may manifest itself in different forms in different parts of the universe. An earlier age had called this power Apollo. Lucan does not reject the ancient myth, but he offers a more modern explanation. He assumes that there is a divine power above and a divine power beneath, and that they are the same power. Wow. The sun that resides above and the sun in the underworld, Apollo and Dionysus, those twin energies, part of that secret, the dual Zeuses we see, right? The Zeus of the throne of Olympus and the Zeus of Hades. Wild. First, Lucan attempts to explore the secret behind the Delphic oracle. As a Stoic, he believes in a divine power that may manifest itself in different forms in different parts of the universe. An earlier age had called this power Apollo, and an earlier age still had called that Delphic power Python, right? The great snake, the great provider of oracular vision, the serpent womb, right? Lucan does not reject the ancient myth, but he offers a more modern explanation. He assumes that there is a divine power above and a divine power beneath, and that they are the same power. And that they are the same power. And what did the sources tell us? Right? That the Dionysian reigns for 3 years, and the Apollonian reigns for 2? It's interesting. Lots to think on. All right, let's continue. Muses. We're now going to go to Ore by Gabriel Macari. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Ore? Inspire us this evening. Pity the nose, for it is pitiful indeed. constantly pulled from side to side, either pleased, teased, or vexed, and never satisfied with the perfumes of autumn and spring, of birth and decay. Oh, pity the nose. Oh my gosh. If only my friend Mandy was here. For those of you with ears to hear, you'll recognize what's going on here. There's a lot of power behind that sensory, right? Your nose, your expression, your ability to smell is related to that nostalgia, right? It's even in the word. Smells are one of the most powerful memory inducers. They can transport you through time and place, right? And there's a recognition here that the nose is pleased, teased, and vexed, and it's tormented with all this intensity. But there's so much information to be gleaned, so much power in the memory, right? And this is something that is hard to express in word. It's hard to explain. It's hard to understand, so it is often hidden. It's often mysterious. Interesting. Pity the nose. All right. I think we're going to do one more here. We're going to go to Underworld by the Sepulture Society. All right. Use this guide in my hand. What is the message from the Sepulture Society to inspire us this evening? The necromancer is fortunate when it comes to adapting images of Persephone, as there are many images easily searchable online which show the goddess from across the Mediterranean. One will note almost immediately that she was depicted in local dress and style on the basis of her locale. So Roman images will show her dressed as a good Roman matron, where Greek images have a more Eastern influence. Persephone can also be symbolized by beauty. So in creating modern images of her, it seems more authentic to have her images look in keeping with the necromancer's own idea of what beauty is and how it can be captured in art. Persephone is connected sometimes with torches and can appear in the company of Cerberus, though the hound is more closely associated with Pluto. Finally, Persephone can also be represented by symbols of fertility and grain. So images of nature or the farmland in springtime is very appropriate for those who wish to capture Persephonean energies in action. Wow, beautiful. Persephone, the queen of the underworld, right? The divine daughter who is seduced or abducted by Pluto and brought to Hades, right? Where she becomes that queen. But this is beautiful, and we can recognize, right? There's so much to be understood from this talk of images, right? And there's so much power in the image. What is Persephone truly? But she is that youthful beauty. That above all is the image that you must strive to connect for. She is that divine virginal energy blossoming, right? Coming into enthronement on the queen. She's that transitional moment from child to mother, right? And this is recognized through her marriage when she ascends the throne, and then in many of the hidden rites, and according to Carl Kareny, gives birth to Plutus or gives birth to Zagreus, right? So it's beautiful. The Kori, right? She's the maiden at the start of the story. She's the maiden. And by the end, she's the divine queen who gives birth to abundance. It's beautiful. And how you connect to that image is through imagining beauty, right? And it's more important to have an authentic perception of beauty and what you believe to be important, what you're inspired to create, rather than to try and connect it to any kind of authentic dress or any image of the past, right? Recognize Persephone as a living goddess, a living energy that is in flux and change with her children, and that queen wants to be reimagined ever in the moment through that adoration, right? To perceive beauty is to perceive Persephone. Love it. She's the blossoming of spring, guys, right? Beautiful. All right. We're now going to go to our tarot proper. Okay. So please, before I begin, give me a like and a subscribe. It really does make a big difference. If you like this video, it boosts everything in the algorithm. And I'm trying to get to 10,000 subs, so help me out. And if you're at all interested in a private reading, reach out to me, snappydbts@gmail.com, or you can come hang out on the Myth and Lore Discord. I'm Snappy or Lady Snappy, and we do lots on the Discord. Come have fun. Come chill with us. Always looking to meet new, interesting people. All right, let's start our tarot. We are going to begin with the tarot of Lady Frida Harris and Aleister Crowley. And we are going to invoke that energy of Saturn Kronos. And we're going to ask them to dissect our life, to cut it up and put it on the plate, to examine our present, and to look at our interconnections. And we ask, how do we best move and flow? How do we rise above? And how do we manifest our true will? All right, here we go. And as always, the center card is the most important card. I love to see it. I love to see it. We're all this talk of Persephone, and then we have the goddess Persephone show up. Crowley in his Book of Thoth identifies the universe directly with the queen ascending that throne and giving birth to the universe again in a new cycle through that cosmic egg, right? This is the completion realized. The child has now become the mother and gives birth to the self anew. And the cycle continues. Beautiful. And this is to recognize these cycles in our own life. This is a moment of creation and a moment of ending, a moment of rebirth and reimagining, a time of reflection under that new moon, that full moon. And as we give birth to ourselves and we create where we're going, what do you really want? Who do you wish to be? What does the muse tell you? Be inspired. Create that story. Imagine yourself anew. Be that great queen. Ascend to higher thrones. Beautiful. Let's continue. I love to see this. Fortuna, another intense goddess energy. Tai Chi, fortune, fate, the wheel, the black sun, Hecate as well, right? That churning of the ocean, that mixing up of fate, and that we are ever in that spinning cyclical flow that is ever spiraling. This is a cycle within a cycle, and as this one ends, a new ones begin. And we must recognize the fortune of the moment and ride the waves, right? Learn to dance, right? Move and flow with that heartbeat, and you can ride through the cycles, no matter how difficult, no matter how beautiful. You know, I was talking to a friend on the Discord, and we were getting passionate about politics. But at the end of the day, fundamentally, we probably shouldn't, because fortune is what fortune is. And we must adapt to whatever comes. And as much as I hate even saying it, it's true. We have little control. You have little control. All right. Let's continue. What is coming to an end? What is ending but indolence, disconnection? This is beautiful, because for anyone who's been following the channel, the indolence energy has been one that's been haunting us from the beginning, periodically appearing over the last few months just to come in and to make you feel annoyed. Indolence energy is twofold energy. On one hand, it's that energy of not doing what is necessary. It's not tending to the cups around you. It's not being in proper flow. It's being selfish, right? It is not doing what is necessary to tend. But at the same time, there's this energy of demand, of expectation, right? What we see here are 4 cups that are reciprocal, right? That are engaged in that free-flowing love. And then we have 4 cups that are not receiving anything and that are excluded. And this is creating devastation, right? And need and want and frustration. We need to balance this energy out. We need to ensure that all of these cups are flowing, that everyone is giving, receiving, that all of this is balanced in that loving connection. We want to expand upon this. This is about taking responsibility and learning how to balance and do what is necessary to put all this into order, right? To ensure that you are not taken for granted, and that you're also not being debaucherous or ignoring people, like it's all about that flow and that balance and learning how to put everything in. What we're seeing is that there's an ending to this energy. That indolence cycle is playing out. Fortune is changing. What's happening? Where's it going? Beautiful. Our cycle is now about this new creative energy, giving birth to the Princess of Discs, right? That manifestation in the physical realm of the earth, the discs, right? This is a new child, a new project, a new job, a new creative pursuit, but it is a child in that real world, and it is something that must be moved towards. It must be something that must be built and engaged with, intended and nurtured, right? The princess needs the mother. The princess must be nurtured, and if she is nurtured, that energy will blossom and grow, and she will become that queen or that knight, that empress or that emperor. The sky is the limit, right? But it must be tended to. This is beautiful. This is our new path as we build in the future, as we work towards something in the physical. And the result of pursuing this child is this explosion of happiness. The 9, the most powerful number in the Pythagorean system, that explosive energy before the completion of a cycle, invested in those cups, that's expansive, unfolding energy. Where with the 8, you see that indolence, right? 4 are receiving, 4 are not. Here now, everyone is in that flow. Everything is balanced. We overcome this indolence energy through this fulfillment in this nurturing of the child. Beautiful, right? Wow. Let's see where this is going. And then we have the 9, the gain. Oh my gosh. Expansive gain in that physical realm of the earth, right? Wealth, abundance, security, expansive, powerful gain, all related to the Princess of Discs. Love and security and wealth coming together with this new loving energy, this new birth, this new creation. Amazing. Wow. I'd love to see that. Let's continue. We have the 5 of Discs. As we expand upon this energy of the foundation, though, there is still worry here, right? Building the tower is never easy, and tending and learning to be the one who can tend to this child is going to require disciplined energy, and it's going to require manifesting and focusing, right? So there's somewhat of a reason to be worried, but what we're seeing here is that there's so much power and potential, right? And how do you overcome worry is by doing and building. Let's see where this energy is going. Or what I'm seeing here, actually, this is interesting. The worry is coming to an end, right? It's ending out with this cycle. Again, as we focus on this child, right? On this project. It's like the energy here of this worry. It's like the indolence energy. These are energies that are tied to the present, that are coming to this completion, right? With that universe energy, as we move and give birth to this new creative princess, right? Which is bringing in this gain, which is bringing in this happiness, which is changing our fortune. Yeah. Connected to that worry, this is beautiful. This is about ending out this cycle and learning to manifest and give birth to that child. To be in that creative mother energy, we must be the priestess, right? The divine feminine who connects to that lunar energy, who draws down the moon. If you look here, right, she is doing 2 things. On one hand, you see the lunar crescent as she draws it down to the earth and embraces that lunar power. But she also uses that power to weave the future, to weave the fabric of fate itself, right? Through that lunar energy and through her disciplined action and her control. She changes reality. She manifests her imagination. How do we overcome that worry? Go out under the stars tonight. Truly connect to that moon. Embody that priestess and create your story. Where do you wish to go? Who are you? Where are you going? Ask her for it. Tell her the tale and make it beautiful. Let's continue. Oh my gosh. Connected to that worry, we have that Fool energy, Dionysus. This is beautiful. This is about how do we overcome this worry? How do we manifest that gain? How do we be this priestess? In this moment, it's about embracing. It's about physically engaging, taking that leap, right? It's not about the logic right now. Right now, it's about that loving adoration. Bacchus in adoration of Venus. Bacchus in adoration of the moon. In that dance, in that wildness, in that madness, right? We are to embody this energy, right? Draw down the star. Engage in the revelry. Be transformed and let the cycle complete. Imagine ourselves into the future and not be bound by this past worries and past actions and past inability to move, right? You know what you want, you're manifesting it. Give birth to that princess. Beautiful. All right. We're now going to flip, but before I do, once again, give me a like and a subscribe. It really does make a difference. It really boosts everything in the algorithm. And if you're at all interested in a private reading, reach out to me, snappyddts@gmail.com, or come hang out with us on the Myth and Lore Discord. We're always hanging out. It's good to see everyone. And I would love to chat with you. No money required, just good friends having good times. All right. Let's take a look at our full square here. All right. Okay. So we'll start here. The wheels of fortune change, and we get our happiness because of the long-term work. You know, this priestess energy, you know, he also is that energy of long-term discipline and engagement, right? I am telling you to go out under the moon and do the ritual in the right now, but what we're recognizing with this priestess is this is a long time coming energy, right? The wheels of fate are turning, and she has been weaving that net. She has been churning that wheel to bring that happiness, right? So this is about recognizing that this is the fruit, right, of our labors. The present is always the result of the past, and the future is always the result of the present. So if you wish to transform your future, if you wish to bring in that happiness, you have to get out under the moon tonight. It's that simple. All right. Beautiful. I love it. All right. We're coming to this energy of the universe. Yeah, right? This worry about expanding our foundation, about figuring out our purpose, about the direction in which we grow, about how we manifest our reality, about what we do, that worry is coming to an end as we give birth to the Princess of Discs, as we manifest this reality in the physical through this loving connection, through this creative endeavor, right? Pursue this. Pursue this in your life, that creative pursuit, that change, that building, whether it is work, whether it is a child, whether it is a relationship, whether it is just working on the self. You can recognize what this princess is, but it is that project that must be nurtured, that child that must be loved so that she can grow into the future and become that empress or that emperor, right? Manifest her full potential, draw down the stars for herself. Beautiful. And that is what we're doing, going through this cycle, As it ends, we're giving birth to the princess. Beautiful. Now we come to that indolence energy. How do we overcome this indolence energy? How do we get out of the funk? Quit thinking about it. Take the leap. Embrace joy. And the gain will come. Do what you love and love what you do. Be yourself. Be true to yourself and just enjoy life, right? Quit worrying so much about everyone. Quit worrying about all of this. Just be that one who gives and receives. Be the model of joy in your life, right? Take a leap and share, right? Don't just give love to four, give love to all. Be that one who brings the joy, who brings the revelry, who dances under the moon with the priestess, right? Beautiful. And that's how we overcome this indolence. And that's how we bring in the gain by taking that leap, by embracing the revelry. All right, let's now take a look at our crosses. So we start here. Yeah, as this cycle plays out, right? It's because of this priestess energy. You know, what we're seeing now is that we've been embodying this energy for a long time. This current moment is a result of work. It's a result of our magic. It's a result of our weaving, right? Karma, fate. And as this cycle plays out and the gain comes in, it's a manifestation of our actions, right? And recognize if you want this gain and the cycles to continue to be that priestess, be that disciplined action. Go out under the moon, praise Diana, praise Selene, you know, praise Hecate. Beautiful. And lastly, yeah, as you come out of this cycle, take the leap. You know what you want, pursue it with the full body of your being. Pursue joy, embrace joy, jump into the revelry. Go for that happiness. Drink the cup to its full, right? The love is here. This is where we're working towards now. Nurturing this divine child, right? So that she can grow to become that emperor or empress or what have you. Whatever she desires, she can be. Beautiful. Incredible. All right. Thank you, everyone. I hope that resonated with you. It certainly resonated with me. And just one last message. Go out under the moon. Be that priestess. Draw down the star. And we're going to do a final sorties from you. And we're going to go back to Underworld. Muses, what is the message from Underworld? Inspire us. The second is the dream mantra of Varahi. If the necromancer has a specific question or decision, then they should undertake to recite this mantra before going to bed. It is said that reciting it 108 times nightly for a month provides her worshiper with a nocturnal vision of her in which she will answer a specific question. Wow. And Varahi is a Vedic goddess of the underworld. Beautiful. I love it. Here I will recite you the dream mantra. And if anyone wants it, you can message me on the Discord and I'll send you the mantra. But it is Om Hrim Namo Varahi Agorhi Swapnam Darshaya Taha Taha Swaha. Om Hrim Namo Varahi Agorhi Swapnam Darshaya Taha Taha Swaha. Beautiful. So, go say the mantra out under the moon and look to your dreams. Messages await. All right, my friends. Peace and love. Thank you for joining me for our live tarot session. And I hope I see you again tomorrow. Take care, everyone.